because I give you the consent, and it's also the culture of my tribe to do so. Would that make murdering okay? No, ladies and gentlemen. This is where the government should come in and actually create as a moral guideline to society who may be confused if there is not a strong government stance coming from the government. Now what the government has actually come today is towards the government's integrity as well as how culture cannot be curtailed and how it has to be preserved. Now, moving on the government's integrity, we say just because something is commonly accepted by a group of people, it does not mean that it should be done. Take a look at example of Indonesia. Corruption is actually commonly done in people, but does that mean that we should actually accept it? No. And also, we say that the impact of actually these people on preserving this culture. Look at the impact if they actually do this culture. You see the isolation of people from doing this culture, something that they believe in, and we say that it's the government's duty to actually protect them. And also, on the perspective of the government's role, they are the one who has actually have the power of moral guideline. Maybe they cannot force moral values, but they have the highest impact on formation of moral values to society, and they have to use this to their advantage to stop breaching the rights of this deceased body, even if, let's say, they give the consent, we don't say that it is still okay. And second of all, on how they say that culture should be curtailed, that this is so important to preserve this cannibalism culture, we say that first, when it harms the rights of other people to preserve the sacredness of this body, it should not be done. Second, when it means that it sets a poor moral value to society, it should not be done. And third of all, when it creates confusion between the society on what is right and what is wrong, it should not be done. Now, moving on to your argument, how we say that allowing consensual cannibalism would first, on the evolution of culture, second, the great magnitude of society retaliation, and third of all, the slippery slope to other immoral acts. Now let's say the evolution of culture. Because of progress of civilization, what differentiates humans with animals is their attachment to strong moral values. We see that progress has been made to moving forward, to respecting and protecting the rights of these people, even if they are diseased. We see cemeteries that is being taken care of because people care about this disease. We say this. We see that if you steal dead bodies, they're still made prosecutable because they care about this deceased body even if they're not alive anymore. Now we also see that the culture has evolved in order to cater people's current view, to actually see current factors, environment, changes in development, the progress of what people see is actually right and wrong. And we say that allowing this would actually negate all progress made to allow this evolution of culture currently today. That we have seen the trend toward actually moving away from these cultures that were adapted maybe like hundreds of years ago. We say that culture has this way of adapting it to current societies, and that is what should be actually supported by the government. We say that the African government, although it's their culture, female genital mutilation, countries and also the UN bodies have moved away from these cultures because it harms the women's rights. We also see places like India where the wives burn themselves after husband's death. This culture is not preserved anymore because there's an evolution of culture. There's an adaptation of culture to actually cater the beliefs of current societies, the current societies today, not 200, 300 years ago. Now second of all, on how it's a great magnitude to society related to retaliation. When a government creates policies that do not reflect the needs and wants of society, we say that the government's duty here is not to protect the wants of society, but more importantly, the needs of society, what they need here. Because they are the ones who have the highest authority, the highest impact, and they have the one who actually can form the moral guidelines of the society itself. They may result in a loss of trust towards the government, because the government, inability of government of actually curtailing this choice that should not be there in the first place, this choice that should be deprived from them in the first place, because this does not protect the society's interests. This will result in protests, riots, disagreements between the society itself of great magnitude, because something that this practice of cannibalism is actually something that is frowned on in society, and also the impact on the people who will practice this. These kind of people will be greatly isolated. We've seen that the international community actually condemns this act because there's a general understanding that cannibalism is wrong. Just take an example of China, where they're eating mostly female babies in some of their soup. We do not agree with these practices because there is a great society retaliation towards a move towards these practices. You have to actually cater the trend towards today's view and not views that is 100 years ago. Now third of all, and how we say it's actually slippery slope to other immoral acts. We say that if this cannibalism is allowed, it would actually blur the line of morality because it would create a trend and tendency of a government to pursue more immoral acts. Why do you do this? Because the society's mindset is altered. If a government is actually still confused on what is acceptable or not, we say the government can also actually, other immoral acts may not always be condemned, because the future demand may be questionable. Yes?
So you're going to justify to ban religion, because religion also creates confusion in the society, right?
No, because the real harm of this is the fact that you're actually depriving the sacredness of this body. In addition to that, you actually also have to understand that the cultures adapt. These cultures, what the societies want today is completely different on what they think is actually from 100 years ago. And also in the great understanding that actually cannibalism is wrong. On the point of the slippery stool towards other immoral acts, because the government fails to set on what is right or what is wrong. This means that the future demand questionable borderline issues, something that the society has no general agreement on. There may be tendencies of actually also legalizing other immoral acts on the part of the government, because the government failed to set a strong example. When they said that cannibalism cannot be done, the government stance on moral-related policies are actually unclear. This makes the society even more confused, because they may even think that other policies that are actually immoral can be established. They may allow things like prostitution, drugs, child labor. We don't think this is a good idea, because the government moralized and actually blurred, and the society's confusion is there, and because there's not a strong example of what is right and what is wrong. Now, as the opposition, we've proven to you on how we should not allow the consensual cannibalism, because on the first part of the evolution of culture, there's progress to be made. There is actually a general agreement that this cannibalism is actually wrong, and they're straying away from these values, also in an adaptation of culture. Second of all, on the great magnitude of societal retaliation, on how there will be a loss of trust towards the government, because they cannot protect the society's interests, and also how the international community will actually condemn these acts. And the third point of view, how we believe that it will create a slippery slope to other immoral acts and do so. And for that, we're proud to oppose.